person in the world that has this. And so what winds up happening is you build up your strength and you go from in the house to the back porch, then out to the garage. Ooh. And then you might get really bold and sit on the front porch at, of course, 1 o'clock in the morning so they can see you, but you're outside. You know, and that builds. And then all of a sudden, you know, you may be somewhere and run into somebody who is like you. And they don't have to tell you, you just automatically know. Because we have a connection to one another. We're a very special bunch of people. You know, and the decisions that we make to be the people that we need to be is really hard. Because once we've made that decision or know that that's what's going on with us and our bodies, we have to question everything we've heard, been taught, and seen before. Everything. Because nothing is the same anymore. All of a sudden, you know, you're this person on this island by yourself with the information that they gave you that was wrong and misleading. And from that, you know, we sort through whatever it is personally, and we grow from that. We figure out just who it is we want to be, how we want to be this person. And then what are we going to do with that from there once we've made that decision? You know, it's one obstacle after another. The good thing about that is we have the heart and the strength and the courage to do it. Everybody can't be a transgender person, you know. And if you know somebody that's transitioning and they're having a really rough time, just let them know, honey, maybe you aren't meant to be a transgender person. Because if you can't enjoy the hell that you're going through to be the person you need to be, you don't need to be doing it. You know, there's too much other shit you can do. You know what I mean? Go out and beat up a tree. I mean, you know, do something like that. Because this is work, and it's very, very serious. This is our lives. You know what I mean? This is no joke. We don't do this shit on Monday through Thursday and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with somebody else. You know, this is who we are. This is how we wake up and breathe and sleep and dream, in or out of clothes. In or out of our shit. This is who we are. And we have to be able to express that. And not just to ourselves, because we need to know who we are to present to the rest of the world. But the world needs to know this too. One of the things that happened as I was growing up was I was adamant about letting people know. I don't know, I'll pick your motherfucking ass and all for the shit. Okay, that's really cute, girl, guess what? You're supposed to be a lady. That. I think about that for a minute, you know. And in going through those changes, what winds up happening is you come to find out that there's a sense of self that evolves from this. Something that makes you unique to you. So that when you present to the world, you know who you are presenting as. And it can change. It doesn't have to be the same thing. But I know damn well I'm not the same person at 71 that I was at 17. I don't know who that bitch was at 17. I don't even know who I am now. You know? And a lot of things happen to change us. Things happen with our families and our friends, you know, that alter and shape who we are, how we're going to present, and how we're going to be, you know. And my thing has always been for the girls to understand that, you know, you have to love you first. And you have to love you as you are. Naked as God made you, standing in front of the mirror and go, okay, I may not look the way I wanted it to look, but guess what? It's mine. You know, this is you that you're looking at. You that you have to appreciate. Because if you don't appreciate you and what you've gone through to get to where you are, no one else is going to feel that for you either. It's something that's just a part of our aura. It's just a part of how we present. You know, and for years, not just in this country, but all across this world, they feel as if, you know, we don't matter. You know, and that's bullshit. We all fucking matter.
Yes.
Every last one of us. And I'm sorry if you don't happen to like the dress I'm wearing. Bitch, buy me a new one. There's a way to pull out all of this so we can get the fuck along. each and every day. You know, none of us we don't know what's going to happen that day. And we don't know what's going to happen once we leave our homes and go out and course through the day. You know, as you go through your day and mingle and stuff, you have no idea who's really in our corner and who isn't. You know, and what's going to happen once we pass them and our back is to them. You know, and so in order to have the confidence to do this, you have to have the confidence in you. And from that little minute thing, there will be a strength that you will feel inside yourself as you course through your days, as you run into different people. You know, and they don't have to all like us and want to sign a petition and pass a law for us to have our rights. You know, but I'm sorry, I don't need a law to tell me where I can pee. If I gotta pee and there's a bush, I'm going. I'm not gonna wait for you to give me permission to go into a bathroom and stand and pee in a goddamn urinal. You know, it's not necessary, you know. And it's a matter of making the rest of the world realize that, you know, we ain't going nowhere. I'm sorry, we've been here since Adam and Eve, from my point of view.
Yes.
Yes.
Had to be, because I can't imagine any other reason Candy killed Abel other than the bitch took her earring. I'd kill that bitch myself. I'm sorry. I'm not those, honey. They weren't for you. And since we've been here this long, these people need to back up and give us some fucking respect. You know? Because it's a matter of, you know, if the Indians could appreciate us as a two-spirited person and realize the powers that we have and dig this talk, remember, you have the fucking power.
Yes.
They can't take it from us. They can't use it for their benefit and good. It belongs solely, completely, and totally to us. We have it. We have it inside, coursing through our bodies, and giving us an aura of ultimate satisfaction to be the people that we need to be. Because once we've made that decision and you know who you are and you stand up and you throw your shit on and you look in the mirror, I'm sorry, it's like that movie Gypsy Rose Lee. Mama, I'm fucking pretty. You know? And that's a tough sentence to say to somebody, you know, especially someone that is close to you about yourself, unless you really feel it. You know what I mean? And trust me, feel it. I don't give a shit about this. Oh, she doesn't pass. Yeah, well, and, you know, that doesn't change who she is. Oh, how she presents. You know what I mean? And the little squabbles that go on and how life treats us. We have adapted to so many things as transgender people to get to the point that we're at now that, you know, whatever's coming, they need to just fucking bring it so we can knock it down and go on about it. That's all we need to do. You know what I mean? You know, it's really, it's a hard situation dealing with our families and our personal connections. And then our friends, you know, I have a lot of friends who stopped talking to me when I was younger when one of the fag hags who knew me in New York had a baby by me. And they're like, oh, girl, you know, you're a traitor to the cause. I said, Mister, you can't even spell traitor, so don't get out of my face. You know, because, you know, there are so many things out there. It's no longer just male and female. There are so many derivatives on this stuff. Like I remember being somewhere and heard some child tell the lady that she was cisgendered. After I got off the floor from laughing, I said, well, right on, bitch. I had no idea what that meant, but I was happy. So it's a matter of accepting who we are and the people that present themselves to you and who they are. You know, and getting that respect, I don't care what we have to do to get it. We deserve that respect. You know what I mean? We're not kids running around playing and, oh, well, today I'm a man, and tomorrow I'm going to be a woman, and Thursday I'll be a tree. No, that's not how things go. You know, once you made that decision, give us the respect for having made that decision. I'm a grown motherfucker, and I don't have time to live my life the way you think it should be lived so that you'll be comfortable. I'm sorry, when I go to my bed, I'm in there by myself. Unless my dog jumps in and I'm on the floor. You know how pets are. And it becomes a matter of making sure that, we share the things that we have with one another. It's sad the number of girls, as attested to by this wall, that have died for holding on to that. And the thing is that, we must always be prepared for that. Always, It's kind of like having antennas coming out of our bodies to make us aware of stuff that's going on around us. And oddly enough, I have seen that actually work for some of the girls, And so be in tune with yourself, you know what I mean? And your surroundings. Don't be afraid to go through them. Go. You have just as much right to be there and to buy stuff and to shop as anybody else. And if they don't think so, tell them. You know what I mean? Throw your butt in reverse, back up about 35 feet, park it, leave me the fuck alone. Done. Because it's a matter of making sure that where we tread, no one else can tread but us. And what we have as you look around this room is each other, and hold on to that, and work on that to the point of, whereby if a girl is doing transition, help her through it, One of the things that got me started on this venture, I guess you would call it, is that in the 60s, they were killing my girlfriends left and right. I had a dear friend named Puppy, and she had 2 Rottweiler dogs with her all the time to help protect her. Well, she died in her apartment in the tub with the dogs in the house. So when we talked to the police, he said, well, it had to be someone who knew her to get past the damn dogs. Oh, you all know what you're talking about. You all have no sense, and you're confused. Okay. So what I started doing from there is getting the girls to keep track of who we went and turn tricks with. Get the license number if you could, and if you can squeeze a little brief description of the person, do so. So the next time somebody fucks with one of us, we have something to fuck with them back, And from there, it just progressed into what it is today, in that sense, Because if we don't look out for one another, no one else is going to look out for us. They would be very happy if we just jumped up and ran and hid in the closet. And I remember being in that closet. It was really fun until I burned the house down. And now there's no closet. And this is it. Oops, I'm sorry. So that's why I watched that program, Chicago Fire, just jump up and down. Yeah! We burned the house down. Someone else is free from that closet. Yes! And it's really, it seems difficult, and it really seems like we are climbing up a hill in our bare feet. But it's worth the journey. It really is worth the journey. Because once you get there, I can't begin to tell you a sense of peace that arises from within yourself to you about this, so that you're okay, And, do your level best to stay as young and beautiful as you can. Because trust me, when you get up here, the gray hair will send the boys packing. I have learned how to use a lasso, and if I find a horse, they're in trouble. Because it's a matter of the thing that they tell us is that, it gets better as you get older, and you'll understand more than you do now. That's bullshit. They need to tell you what the hell's going on now, so then you prepare, Because I got here and said, well, wait a minute, I don't understand it. They said it was going to be my golden years. Well, if don't nobody pee on me, I ain't seen a golden shit. I'm still waiting, So just hang on to what you have and who you are, and make sure that you get an opportunity to utilize that, to grow with who you are and be, And keep the friends that are close to you near to you. Let them know how you feel. Don't let somebody drift out of your life or pass away or go to their maker, as they call it, without knowing how you feel, you know, all the time. And, you know, some of your best friends you will have the greatest arguments in the world with, you know. Enjoy that, you know what I mean? It's a matter of making sure that your life is your life, that you live it. You know, that if you're sad, fine. Pour yourself some wine, put on some Billie Holiday, cry for a couple of days. The next day, get up, change your hair, throw some lips on, and fuck it, get it up. That's the only way to do it. And in doing that, you'll see that you feel so much better about yourself and things that's going on and how things happen, you know, so that you'll be all right. You know, and it's not easy, but hey, nothing comes to us easy. You know, and the fight that we struggle with to go up to be who we are, it's well worth it. You know, it's really well worth it. They should have us on cereal boxes. Hey, yeah! I did my shit, honey. You know, back up off me. And hang in there, you know, because it's so worth it. And one of the things I wanted to ask you all, you know, if you all had any questions for me as an older person, please raise your hand or let me know, because I'm not going to blow any smoke up anybody's ass, so I can get it as it comes out. Yeah, baby.
Well, so you're going to tell us that we got to hear about the night stone?
Yeah. You know what? I hate to say this, that was then and this is now. I'll give you a little glimpse.
Okay, give us a little glimpse.
Oh, yeah. Share us.
One of the things about that was a lot of people, especially the white, I can say that, those motherfucking sissies, I swear to God, they took this shit from us right after it happened. And the thing was that this wasn't a planned event. No one had decided earlier in the day that this is what we were going to do. But you know, you come and you reach a point whereby you're just not taking this shit anymore. And that was just one of those nights, you know. A lot of people look for a cause or a reason. The cause or reason is the people in blue with the nightsticks and the guns. That's the cause and reason, you know. We had no qualms with one another, you know. And as it went down, what the police used to do all over this country is go to gay bars and stuff like that, take their little nightsticks and hit the door jam at the entrance to the bar. Once they did that, you were to separate from dancing or being with a person of the same sex, turn and be with somebody from the opposite sex like you were talking to them, and get ready to leave the bar with your ID in hand. That was the standard. No matter when they came, early in the evening, 8, 9 o'clock, or 2 just before the bar closed. Okay, when this happened that night, they came and hit the door jam. All of us that were inside the bar simply looked at one another. You know, and it's like the feeling that we have here with all of us together here. You know what? I'm not moving tonight. And we stood there, and they came in the bar and tried to usher us out. You know, and it wasn't a whole bunch of little white fags running around in that bar. It was a trans bar. You know, the girls who did shows used to come there. Sometimes the drag queens would come by. You know. And they're really cute and shit, and they do their little thing, and that's nice. But that's not their life. They go home and change out of that shit and go cruise and dance. You know, we ain't doing that. You know what I mean? And so when it started, they started taking us outside, putting us in the paddy wagon. And I don't know what was thrown. If it was a bottle. Some say it was a beer bottle. Other people said someone threw one of their heels up in the air, and it broke the window to the front of the bar. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, there was a boom, and then this started flying, you know. And I'm sorry, the girls hiked up their dresses, tied them around their waist, and kicked some fucking ass. And the funny thing, you know, and thinking back on it through these years has been, this shit went on for 3 days. It started raining, we went home. You know what, I messed up. Stopped raining that next night, we all went back. 3 days this shit went on. And the funny thing is, it would have been nice if someone would have had little tiny ass phones then to take pictures and put it on the internet and stuff like that. So they could have seen the number of girls that were there, And then these fags berated all my friends and us, said that we were junkies and we were alcoholics and that they came there to save the day for us. I'm sorry, that's not what happened, honey. The girls were there fighting toe for toe in their heels and without, and these fags came from all over. We heard an echo from one of the apartment buildings down there where the queens were yelling to each other, "Oh, we have to go to Stonewall. Those girls are kicking ass." And that's exactly what was going on. You know what I mean? And when the little white fags got down there, they were like, "Oh, don't hit me in my face." Just, let me hit this motherfucker. Hit you in your face. What you talking about, bitch? And that's how we went, And one of the things that happened after they started this parade shit, they didn't tell the transsexual girls, transgender girls about the parade. They told all the drag queens. And so when the first parade went down, there was a white boy there who came for money. He used to have a '69 Eldorado baby blue Cadillac white interior that he would park in front of the club all the time. And so he was in the parade with 3 drag queens sitting on the back of his car. And I was at home with my friends, and we all wished that we had guns so we could run down there and shoot those bitches off the top of that car like they do fowls on the fence. And be done with it. So it wasn't a fun time, but it was a time of grabbing and holding on to who we are and making sure that somebody other than us knew who we were, and that this is, it's not going to go on anymore, And after it happened, we found out about what happened out in San Francisco at Compton. Same thing happened. You just reached that point where, you know what, I am tired of this motherfucker kicking me in my ass. He's going to raise that foot the next time and I'm going to break that bitch off. And that's exactly what happened. It's something that they feel as if started this gay movement and stuff. And for most of the girls, and including myself, that wasn't what this was all about. You know what I mean? It had nothing to do with the movement. It had to do with respect for me and who I am and how I present. That's what it was, And that's the thing I want every young person that I ever talked about to understand. It was about the respect for us, And the fact that they don't have it, and they take shit from us, like, I'm sorry, you're going to give me this LBGTQZXW shit. And I'm supposed to just accept that? No, T should have been first. I'm sorry. I don't care how they look at it, you know what I mean? Little blue eyes, little pink shade. That's bullshit. And they did, I don't know if y'all know, but they had a meeting in Washington to vote on whether or not the T was going to be in that group of letters. I'm sorry. I don't know one alphabet soup that don't have T in it. And guess what? That's what ought to be first. So that's what happened.
Thanks very much.
Just so awesome.
Yeah.
So if I get oh, you're a smart bunch of bitches. No, that's fine. Okay.
The current work that you're doing with former incarcerated prisoners, how did you come about doing that type of work?
After going to the same thing in New York City and having the most wonderful times I ever no matter, as people and human beings, we can make any situation we get caught up in plausible and get through it. It doesn't have to wash us away and send us down the river, I got busted in 1970 and went to Sing Sing. I got 5 years. And in Sing Sing, it was like being in Little New York. Because Sing Sing was an open prison at that time, and it's on a hill, and so there were streets where the girls that were in there could cook, and their little tricks get their cigarettes. There was a little spot that was on the other side for couples. It was, you know. And so being there was an absolute joy until they sent you to another prison, which they did. They wound up sending you to Dannemora. And at the time, you know, when they would arrest queens or transgender women, as they later were being called, they would put us in a hospital because they thought that we were mentally deficient and give us drugs to make us okay. You know, can you imagine going to a doctor and telling them, oh God, I had to go to that cold? Well, you wouldn't have that cold if you weren't trying to live as another sex. Sorry, my whole thing was coughing. I'm coughing up here. And get over it, you know. And so they sent me to this other prison. About a year after that, the Attica riots happened. And when that happened, it changed the atmosphere of the prison industrial complex completely and everywhere. I got to meet, I was in the hole, as we usually are, and they put some of the fellows that came in the hole with me. One of the men who helped to start the riot in Attica was named Big Black. And through him, I became aware of how this government and these people who, this 10% of people who have 90% of the fucking money, how they see me and my community, and what they'll do to make sure that I do not survive, and that we do not make it. And realizing that, it made me aware of there has to be things to do to look out for my sisters and my girls, and the people who are close to me, who are a part of my community. And from there, I became more politicized than I could have ever possibly imagined before I went there. And then upon my release, you know, what happened is you start to want to do things to correct that problem. You know? And it's hard to correct a problem because this entire country is built on the premise of if you do something wrong, jail is the best place for you. And I'm sorry, there are a lot of people in jail, but jail is not the best place for them. You know, they need to learn another way to take care of the things that happen that are supposedly against society's rules. Well, you know, if society knew that I existed, maybe they would want me to be in jail instead of hiding who I am, having to slip from pillar to post, sneaking around in the shadows, you know, because you can't be out in the daytime, you know. And so what winds up happening is that they are so pervasive and they are so articulate at keeping races of people down that they know no other way to do this. And so we have to fight this in every venue and every way that we can. We have to join other social service organizations. We have to work together with people so that in working together with them, when we need them, they'll work together with us. Because if one of us suffers, all of us suffer. You know, when AIDS hit and it was killing all these people everywhere, it was just devastating because little pieces of us are what's dying. You know, little pieces of us are in prison for 35 years in one little goddamn cell at the prey of people who are supposed to be there to look out for them. They're not there looking out for them. So they're making sure that they continue to grovel and beg and be underneath their feet. Even if they don't look a little worse than anything. And in going through that, what winds up happening is that this system, all of a sudden, you know, it supports towns. It supports people. Can you imagine, just say some little average white guy, and he's going to go work in a prison. Do you know their salary starts off at $60,000 a year? For some big motherfucker that can't read the alphabet to watch over the people that are in the prison system? How wrong is that? You know, it doesn't make any sense. And so my thing is, when I was in there, one of the things that I missed while I served my time was hearing from my friends, my community, you know. My family said I could get through so they could let me know what an abomination I was. I was like, oh, you spelled abomination wrong. And so what I try to do now is, especially through my agency, is to make sure that the girls get a letter from somebody, from the community, so that we know what's going on. It's not like the Newsweek or People magazine. Shit is something that we use so we can go forward, so that we can realize that, okay, I'm in here today, but I won't be here forever. And when I get out there, people out there who are interested in me, who are concerned about what happens to me, who will help me get my feet back on track. And what happens is, up until we've gotten into this movement of trying to change the social atmosphere in this country and the world, things have gotten a little bit better internally. Not physically, because the jails are still there. They're still overcrowded. They're still scooping up more people, They're on this craze now, picking up women and transgender folks, and then using the transgender people in the male prisons as pawns and objects, They stick us in cells with people who they're having a problem with, some big, tough guy who's running around kicking everybody's ass and beating up people. Or they'll put one of us in his cell, and then that lets him know he can beat up and fuck around with us, until we fight back. And then he stays out in the population, and we go to the hole. So it's a matter of making sure to me that, my community knows there's people out there to care, and a letter or a newsletter or just someone to say, hi baby, how you doing? When you get out, we're here. That's what's important, And it's what keeps me going, and recharges my batteries and keeps me going. As do things like this, because it's a matter of, we gotta make sure that people know what the hell happened, and realize that not only do we have a history, but we have a culture. And they need to realize that, we're not just random beings running around here trying to get to the giant's land like back in the beanstalk did, you know what I mean? This is who we are. This is how we present. And goddamn it, whether you like it or not, we ain't going no fucking where. And guess what? Get over it.
Any more questions?
Yeah. Can I have a question, please? Yeah.
Sure.
I just really very curious why I like also to be the guest speaker, but you represent me by your image, by your books. You're like my twins. And I just felt like I'm the one who's speaking now.
Yes, okay.
We look like the same face.
Yay! That's what we all got, 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Now just put an eye up here, I forgot to worry. But thank you.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
My mother wouldn't have liked it, but I think it's fabulous. So, yes,
My
sir.
question.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, my question is, we had in America 2 main problems before the president got in his position.
Mm-hmm.
The second-hand clubs and anxiety for change. Now I want to test this anxious for change in connection with this LGBTQ problem. Sorry, but I read somewhere in a certain pocketbook that homosexuality is not actually wrong, as long as they call it a healthy homo. In connection with this anxious for change, this is for all America anxious for change. Everybody wants something to be changed in their lives. I just want to emphasize your culture with LGBTQ. Actually, I want to propose based on what you said, that this will not last forever. So what do you mean by that? And as I assume, I'm going to give like principles that everybody is looking for the meaning of life. The meaning of life, and which it doesn't really change everything, the whole personality, at least the things that we have already, the answers get obtained, and only the negative ones that don't help us or don't help our neighbors will just be the one to be changed. And that's the one that I'm trying to imply here. I want also, in connection with what you said, that this will not last forever. And what I'm trying to also emphasize is, from the point that the assets are going to retain, everybody is treated equally by of course, everybody is treated equally by the universe. All children of God, I will also emphasize that. And everybody have the right to live here on earth. And everybody is a children of God, in other words. And I want to emphasize this too, that in this culture, this community that you have, based on what you said, that this will not last forever. I mean, since we have just the so-called meditation in connection with the universal energy source or God.
So what is your question?
Can we get the question out, please?
My question is, if it's okay to you, then I'm going to suggest this culture, we accept ourselves as we are, but we can hope for the better, as based on the answer for change, which America has, which is one of the problems.
Okay.
Can we let her answer?
Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm trying to, if it's okay to you, that's also part of the empowerment. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, your opinion is what I want.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
So if you can comprehend all that she said, please answer it.
Yeah.
We don't want to leave her out.
Give me a minute.
Okay.
Opinions too.
No.
This is a very broad topic.
Yeah, well, the thing about changes and being God's children, there are a lot of people who don't think we are God's children.
Okay.
And that's a personal thing that we each have to go through individually on our own. And as far as getting the rest of the world or some of these fag couples that are running around adopting children from Asia and China and Africa, don't know a thing about the culture of those people when they have those children, there's nothing we can do about that. I mean, personally, I'd like to do like they wanted to do, was put us all on an island and send them out to sea. But that's not going to happen. But a change is going to come, I hope, and I hope I get a chance to live and see it. Because this is wonderful. I've never seen this back in 1962, so yay, you all.
I think we had another question in this room. Is there one back here, I thought? Missy? Or Missy, go ahead, Missy, real quick, and then we'll go back there. Go ahead, Missy, and then we'll go back.
Okay.
First of all, just briefly, it is such an honor to have you here. I cannot believe it. You are so beautiful. I wondered if you could speak a bit to the culture of coming out in the 60s as a trans woman. What did that feel like? What were some of the family dynamics, the social dynamics of being a trans woman in the 60s coming out?
Oh, Lord, okay, I closed that door so long ago, girl, I got a thing. Well, one of the things about it was that, there was such a pervasive feeling of my imminent death, happening by a cousin or an uncle, and then telling my blood family, for what I was sorting out, trying to go through. They wanted to let me know, well, why couldn't you just be gay? And like, okay, if that would work, I'd probably be very happy, but that yellow dress I saw downtown, it has my name written all over it. So once I got up off the floor, after my mother slapped the living shit out of me, I realized to keep this shit to myself, you know. And in going through high school and stuff like that, there were little pockets of friends that I had that, you know, had an idea that something was, you know, slightly amiss. But it's never easy transitioning or realizing who you are and coming out, because there's so much baggage given us from the time we're born. They start off with the blue shit and the pink shit, you know what I mean? And they treat one gender different than the other, you know, and they never take the time to think about when, as things were progressing in 1800s and stuff like that, it was the men that were wearing the fucking pink shit. And the lace little doilies and all that old spag shit, you know what I mean? And the little boots with the buckles, you know what I mean? And they were binding women up, you know, in tarp, just about, you know? So they really don't have an idea of how to go about this. So there's so much confusion over this, and in trying to sort out who we are, you know? And look at there's a number of people who fight that feeling, you know what I mean? I've known some straight guys that have like 9 or 10 kids start trying to prove that they're not. You know what I mean? And something dramatic happened in their life, their wife died, or their favorite child. And all of a sudden, child, they're in a dress. Fast, you know? And if we had an opportunity to be the people that we needed to be for ourselves earlier, maybe some of this shit that's going on now wouldn't be happening, you know? But it was a really rough time, you know, and you knew that you had to, anybody found out, you'd have to fight, you know? And so you had to figure out whether you wanted to fight fair or fight dirty. I don't have the time to fight fair, girl. I got other things I got to do, so I got to knock you out right away and get the hell out of it. But it was rough.
All right, last question.
Yeah.
And one more up here, Bobby, after that.
One more up here?
Yeah, Rachel,
Yeah.
question. Oh, no. Okay.
What's your perspective on being black and transgender?
Oh. Black and transgender. Hold on a minute. Oh, yeah, I'm black. Okay. So, it is what it is. You know, I mean, a lot of the things that happen to us as black transgender women don't happen to a lot of the girls who are of other persuasions. Some of the Latin girls get beat up pretty bad, depending upon how dark their skin is. And one of the things about that is, you know, we have to accept who we are and be that person, period. You know? And if this world is invited for people who are just black off doing their own little thing and straight, you know? I have 3 sons, you know, and I worry about every one of them because they're black men, you know? I would have loved it if one of them would have been one of the girls, so I could have made him the bitch of them. However, it didn't turn out that way, and so I worry about them because this world isn't set up for us as black people, you know? And so any person who is not white, they're in trouble, you know? And so my thought about it is, child, just be the best bitch you can be and fuck them. That's all we can do, okay? Cool.
You want to tell them about your documentary coming up? And when it'll be released?
That.
Why don't you?
Oh.
Yeah, give yourself a little plug.
Okay. They're doing a documentary about me, something about living hard. Was that for me?
No, baby, your phone is on vibrate.
Oh, right. Oh, that's right. It's in my pocket. Yeah, they're doing a documentary about me out in California. And it's just to calculate what I've seen through my years here, because our community needs to know of our history and of the people who were a part of it and things that have gone on. My goal out of this is to just get a black girl's story out there.
Yes.
Period. You know what I mean? But I swear to God, if I pick up one more book and there's some white girl leaning back with 3-inch heels on and a steam stockings holding a cigarette, I'm gonna die. You know, so, okay, I'm so glad you all are here. You're probably thinking, that's really sweet, but how much suffering did you do to get there? You know what I mean? No, sorry, you didn't have to lift that bars and tote that veil and all that other shit. So that's what we're trying to do with it. It's on the, I'm not that computer savvy, so I have a Facebook thing. I never read it, just so you know. You can friend me, I will friend back the devil if he puts it in there. What I know. And it's on some other thing. What is it?
It's called Major, the documentary.
Oh, there you go.
It's on Facebook. It's Major with a hyphen. It should be released and ready to be seen by mid-2014.
Yeah.
So look out for it.
That's what we're hoping.
We're gonna have. That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping to have a San Francisco premiere of it. A trailer, a 15-minute trailer, was presented at the San Francisco Transgender Film Festival a few weeks ago. The community at large raised $26,000 online to do the final production costs, because with anything, it costs to do a documentary. And so it's on its way.
And so listen, what my plan is, I don't know what the people who produce the thing plan, but what my plan is to take it to every major city where we congregate more than 2 of us at a time. There are bitches like you everywhere on this earth, and go to every goddamn city in this motherfucking country so they can realize, wake up, back up all my fucking friends and bitches and girls, and let us have in peace. I love you all, and thank you so very much for having me.
Now, don't forget, tomorrow, beginning at 2 o'clock here, we will have our first trans worship service, which is actually going to be kind of different mix of service. It will include a little Native American. We're actually making it more inclusive.
Oh, drums on stage?
Oh, yeah, actually, Holly is going to do something with that, yes.
Yay! Okay, cool.
What do you call it, Holly?
What?
When you...
The smudging?
Smudging, yes.
There we go.
We'll include smudging and everything too. So.
I'll help you with it.
Yeah, so we're trying to make it a mixed faith, different worship backgrounds for tomorrow's trans worship service. Then at 4 o'clock we have the America's Trans Youth Got Talent, which will begin at 4 o'clock here at the center. That'll run till 6 p.m., followed by our mixer at Club Metro, which Jasmine will lead that show down there. So we look forward to seeing you out here tomorrow.
Thank y'all. Okay, now I got it. Okay. Oh, of course. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to avoid flashes.
Yeah, but if you use the